Hello, can you hear me now? All of you, please confirm once. Yes, yes. Yeah. So let's start today's session. This is the second session of Python package course. Okay. So yesterday I discussed basics. So let me show you what I discussed in the last session. Within 10 minutes, I'll explain in the last session what I discussed clearly. So next we'll continue the session. Okay. Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me open the documentation which I discussed in the last session. Yes. So for new joinings, I'm going to explain you in the last session what I discussed, just a basic introduction part I discussed in the last session. Okay, today I'm going to show you how to make Python setup and what are the possible ways to write Python script and which editor I'm going to use in our sessions complete Python package I'm going to discuss. Okay, so first of all, this course is completely Python package course. In this course, I'm going to cover these subjects like Python, Django, then REST API, that is Django REST framework. And in Python, core and advanced concepts I'm going to cover. So it will take 45 days only Python. And those who want to attend only Python, you can attend 45 days. That's it. And you should pay only for Python, not for complete package. And Django, in Django is nothing but web application development framework. It's completely written in Python. That's what to learn Django or to learn DRF, Python REST framework or Django REST framework, compulsory Python programming language is required. At the time of Django discussion, I'll cover basics of all UI technologies also, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap. And the duration of this complete Python package course is 3.5 months. And in this first 45 days, my focus is completely on Python, core and advanced Python, because Python is here mandatory to learn Django, then REST API. So once I complete Python, then we'll start with Django framework, web application development framework. So once you learn Python plus Django with the basics of UI technologies and REST framework, then you will become a Python full stack developer. Or else, according to your requirement, you need only Python programming, then you can attend only Python classes for first 45 days. And also you should pay only for Python. You need not to pay entire the package. Okay, that you know that. And I explained in the last session, Python is a programming language. It is used to write coding part for application development, and Django is completely web application development framework. This is a framework, web application development purpose. And REST API is nothing but it is a service, web service kind of thing, which is used in Django only. Yeah. Yes, data science stuff I'm going to teach at the end of the Python course, this Python complete course. Pandas and Matplotlib and NumPy concepts I will cover. Pandas, Matplotlib, and NumPy. These three modules, data science related modules, I'm going to cover. Okay, yes, in Python 45 days course only. And now coming to the Python. Python is a programming language which is used to write coding part for application development. And what type of programming language it is, it is a general purpose, high level, interpreted, dynamically typed programming language. So what is meaning of general purpose? General purpose means using Python programming language, we can develop any sort of applications. It's not designed for specific types of application development. It is designed for only general purpose, means you can develop any type of applications. Any type of application means these are the application area where we use Python. Python is used to develop different types of applications like desktop applications. Desktop applications are two categories: console based applications, that is command user interface or character user interface. Desktop GUI, graphical user interface. These two are standalone applications. Using this application, we cannot share the information. These are fixed with one particular computer or system. And coming to the web application development is possible, like websites, web pages, but with the help of Django framework only. Django framework is purely designed with Python for developing web applications. And network programming also we can write using Python code, and gaming applications we can develop, business applications, data analysis applications, machine learning, artificial intelligence, audio and video based applications. Yes, and testing audio and video based means yes, top level companies like YouTube and Spotify, they are using Python and Django applications for managing their audio and video based applications. And testing also is possible with Python, like Selenium with the Python script. So this is application area where exactly we use Python. And not only this, then we can use Python script in embedded programming, MATLAB, VLSI, and so on. Okay, so that is a EEE mechanism. Also, we can write by using Python script, because as I said that in the last session, Python supports huge standard libraries. That means once we download and install Python software, you will get plenty of libraries. Using that libraries, we can able to develop any sort of application. Yes. So your application related libraries are available by default. So it is a high level programming language and general purpose programming language. High level means, as I said, that you need not to write any explicit code for managing low level activities like memory management and the security purpose. So Python itself, it can manage. So garbage collector mechanism is there here to manage the memory management for our code. And completely Python is interpreted based programming language. So Python is completely interpreted. So interpreted and compiler differences also I discussed in the last session. So these are the compiler based: C, C++, Java, C#, .NET. And compiler based means whole program at a time it will check and execute. That is compiler based. Whole program at a time it will check and execute. And when it comes to Python, it is interpreted based, means line by line code will check and execute. How many number of lines you have written in Python script, line by line will check. So means one line it will check, if it is correct, then it will go to next line. And again next line will check, if it is correct, then it will go to next line. So in case if any error which occurred in that lines, then immediately Python interpreter will stop the execution and it will show the error message. So only you will get one error at once in Python programming execution, because it's line by line code will execute here. And next, coming to this, Python is dynamically typed. Dynamically typed means, yes, as I said, statically typed languages are these. Dynamically typed language is Python. And statically typed, dynamically typed means what? In every programming language, compulsory, we have to declare variables and values. Now coming to this existing languages, C, C++, Java, C#, .NET, to declare variables and values, you have to follow this common syntax. Data type you have to decide, and variable name you have to declare, and value you have to assign to the variable. So here in my case, data type is integer, variable is a, 100 is a value. So data type you must and should specify here, where in these languages. But when it comes to Python, you can see data type you need not to specify. Okay, did I declare any data type here before a? No, because it what? It is a dynamically typed programming language. Dynamically means at the time of program execution based on your value, what you are assigning to the variable, and data type will decide automatically. Who will assign data type? Python internally will assign data type for your variables based on its value. In case here, if I mention int a equals to 100, this is not valid. It is invalid. When it comes to Python, this will not work. Only just declare a variable and assign the value to the variable. That's enough. And if you want to know which type of data type is assigned for your variable, then you will get information by using type of A. Type of A is nothing but what type it is? Integer type, because the value is 100. Type of B means what type it is? Float type only, because your value is floating only here. Based on your value, data type will decide for your variables only. So while declaring variables in Python programming, you need not to specify any data type of your variables because it is completely dynamically typed programming language. So this is user friendly, programmer friendly. You need not to concentrate on your data types. But strictly remember, it doesn't mean that Python don't support data types. It's having a lot of data types like int, float, bool, complex, list, string, tuple, set. So many data types are there. But only the thing is, we should not give any data type declaration at the time of assigning value to the variable. Internally, we'll decide data type for your variable because it is dynamically typed. And case sensitive programming language also I said. Case sensitive means what? How the way you declare variables or function names or class names in Python programming, same way how to access. For example, a value 100. I just declare a variable with a is lowercase and print a. I'm accessing with lowercase. This is right process. But when it comes to capital A, this is wrong process because you declare a is small and you are accessing into capital. This is wrong. So this is case sensitive. If you declare a is capital value, then you can print it a, then it is correct. So case sensitive programming language. So Python is a general purpose, high level, interpreted, dynamically typed and case sensitive programming language. And most importantly, Python is completely structured oriented. Yes, we have to discuss many data structures. And functional oriented. Yes, we are going to discuss about functions topic for usability purpose. And even it is completely object oriented. Yes, object oriented means security, reusability, application enhancement. Okay, that lot of features will come from object oriented. We will discuss clearly all the orientation of Python programming: object orientation, functional orientation, and structured orientation way. I'm going to teach you Python subject completely here. All the aspects I'm going to cover. Okay, now coming to this, Python is used to develop different types of applications. These are the application area where we use exactly Python. And next, Python was designed and developed by Guido van Rossum. He is the man who invented, who designed Python script. And the first version of Python was released in the year of 1991. So the first version name is 0.9.0, and the current stable version of Python is 3.10.0 only here. Okay, how do you know that current stable version or all version information? Just visit this official website www.python.org. And the name Python was selected from TV show. The author Guido van Rossum was selected a Python programming language name from TV show because when he started of Python script, so at that time, so there was a TV show which was telecasted under BBC channel. So that is the circus TV show name is called the Circus Show. That is complete Monty Python Circus Show. So the name is derived from this show only. So that's what we can call it as Python. So this is the story what I discussed in the last session, the first session of Python course. This is those who miss. This is only I discuss. Okay, even I will send that recording video also. This is completely theoretical part. Now today's session I am going to show you how to uh, download and install Python software. So first time when we wanted to start practice, when we wanted to start coding part of Python programming language, what we need to do. First, I strongly recommend download and install Python software first. You have to do this only. No matter later which editor or which editor tool or editor software you are going to use for writing Python script, that is different issue. First you have to visit official website and download Python software and install it. Okay, yes. But actually I have in my computer already Python software. Okay, so that's what I'm not going to install it once again. But I have latest version 3.10.0. So, but I have 3.9.7 also. Like, no problem. That is almost similar. But I'll show you how to check version also here. What exactly we cover means our team will send the syllabus copy here. Okay, yes, everything we will cover from core to advanced Python, core and advanced Python. So operators, data types, okay, data structures, collections, exception handling, multi-threading, file handling, object-oriented programming features, encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, okay, and regular expressions, and different types of modules are there. Lot of things, arrays concept. I can't say that I completely. It will take a lot of time. So our team will send you a course content. So then you will come to know that. So now I'm going to start downloading Python software and install. For this purpose, what we need to do, just go to Google and just type download Python simply. Download Python, you have to type it. Once you click on this, there is an official link www.python.org. Just click on this link and you will come to know that what is the current stable version of Python here. Okay, current stable version of Python. Now you can see download Python 3.0.0. This is the latest version. And once you click download started, immediately within the fraction of seconds, you have downloaded this Python 3.10.0. And as I said, that Python is completely cross-platform or platform independent. So Python is completely cross-platform or platform independent, we can say that. Some features also required here. What are the features? So did I cover the features of Python? No. So I'm going to cover the features of Python also before going to start installation. Some important features are there here. Features of Python. What are the features of Python? As I said that in the last session, Python is simple and easy to learn. So Python syntaxes are very simple, sir, straightforward. So you need not to write much more complex syntax here when it comes to Python. So in other languages, we have to write somewhat uh, proper syntaxes. No, it can be run on any version, but Python version, Pandas version also have to cross verify. Okay, Python version, Pandas version also have to cross verify. Okay, yes. So if you have any question, can you please ask at the end of the session so that the session is going to be deviate. I hope you understand. Don't take in wrong way. Okay, after completion of session, I'll wait how much time you want. So that's good. Okay, yeah. So now coming to the features of Python. So I'm just write these features. Python is simple and easy to learn. Yes, as I said that Python programming language is simple syntax. Okay, and this is we can feel it while writing Python code and while reading Python statements. You are going to feel like reading English statements because it is simple syntax and easy to learn. And the syntaxes are very simple. And then compared with other languages, we can write very less number of lines of code. That means it will be more readability and simplicity. We can reduce the development cost of the project. And next feature is Python is free and open source. Free and open source completely it is. Free and open source means we can use Python software without any license, and it is completely free for all. And the source code is completely open. so that we can customize the source code based on our application requirement. And next, Python is high level programming language. As I said that low level activities purpose, you need not to write any explicit code because it is high level. And platform independent, platform independent, platform independent. That means once we write Python code, it can be run on any platform without rewriting again and again. So because internally Python virtual machine is going to take responsible to convert your code into machine understandable code on which machine you are going to run. So that means platform independent or cross platform, it can be run on any platform, Windows, Linux, Unix, Solaris, Ubuntu, anywhere, no issues. Then Python programs are portable. That means portability, portability in nature. So once we write Python programs, that programs we can migrate from one platform to another platform very easily. Python programs will provide the same result on any platform. Result wise, no differences. It can be run or it can be provide accurate result. It's in any platform. Even if you migrate from one platform to another platform, like Windows to Linux or Linux to Windows something, then it will provide same result only. And Python is completely dynamically typed. Already I discussed this because once we write Python code and while declaring variables, and you need not to specify any data type. So whenever we assign the value to the variable, based on your value, data type will be allocated automatically. But when it comes to other languages like Java, C Sharp, .NET or C language that are statically typed, we have to provide data type at the time of beginning only. That means at the time of declaration time of variable. And next, Python is completely interpreted. Interpreted means line by line code will be executed. We are not required to compile explicitly. Compilation will take care interpreter only. These are the basic features, and it's having huge standard library. This is another important feature, huge standard library. Because of this only, Python became a popular language. It's having lot of libraries based on client requirements, what type of applications. If you are going to develop, that application libraries will come by default when we install Python software. These are the basic features of Python. Now coming to the thing, already just I have downloaded Python software by visiting python.org, download Python 3.100, and this is the stable version. And let's go to download folders. I'm going to open download folders. Now you can see Python 3.10.0 is there. Just here double click on it to installation process. You just double click on it. Once you double click on it, you can see you will get this dialog box, install Python. But before going to click on install now, I strongly recommend to activate this checkbox, add Python 3.102 path. So if you add this, then you will be able to set the path, this Python software to your operating system. So this you have to required to activate this checkbox, and after that you just click on install now. Once you click on install now, it will ask you 2 or 3 times next, install it. That's it. Don't do anything. Only you have to this thing, activate this checkbox and click on install now. Within less than 1 minute of time, your Python software is ready. But why I'm not proceeding by clicking on install now? Because in my computer already Python installed. So that's what I don't want uninstall and install again. So my other application will get disturbed, but it's not a big deal. Okay, just trust me. You can install it now. If you have any problem, please let me know that I'll help you. But no doubt at all, you will be able to install successfully once you click on install now. That's a very simple way. After installation successfully, then how do we check whether in my computer Python software already there or not? Just by visiting command prompt. Let's go to command prompt, and now you can see if you want to know that your computer is having Python software or not, Python space hyphen simply you can able to type version, and you will come to know that which version of Python already you have. So I have already Python 3.9.7, but very soon, like 1 or 2 days after, I'll be uninstall this 3.9.7. I'll install latest version, current stable version also. No worries at all. So version to version, you don't observe the big changes. Okay. So let me continue with this Python 3.9.7. Later we'll install 3.10.0 also like. So this is the version is available. Okay. And one more important thing. Once we download install Python software, you will get a default editor. Yes. For every programming language, for every programmer, one platform or editor software is required where we can write Python script and execute. Suppose let us consider C language programmers will use Notepad editor or else Notepad plus plus edit plus Sublime editor, code blocks, Turbo C. There are so many plenty of editors are there for C programmers. Even Java programmers they'll use edit plus, Notepad plus plus, NetBeans, Eclipse, MyEclipse, something. And similarly, .NET programmers will use Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. They are that are editor tools. Same like we are working with Python programming Python script. So we need some editors. So what editors are recommended editors? I will tell you. But when we download and install Python software for the first time, you will get a default editor. That editor name is called IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment. Okay, Integrated Development Learning Environment. This is Integrated Development Learning Environment. This is the IDLE software you will get. So here I want to show you what are the different ways to write Python script and execute. Okay, so look at here. These are the different ways, but which way I'm going to approach, I'm going to follow throughout the entire the sessions of Python and Django, all those things. Which editor I'm going to use also, I will tell you clearly. Just wait. So different ways to write Python code and execute. Different ways to write Python code and execute. What are the possible ways? I'm telling you can choose any one way. Okay. Yes, but you must and should aware as a Python programmer all the possible ways how to write, how many possible ways to execute Python code. You must and should aware. That's what I'm showing all the possible ways. First way is using interactive mode. Interactive mode. What is this meaning of interactive mode? So as I said that when we download Python software and install, you will get IDLE software. So when we go to search option and just type IDLE software here, IDLE you can type it in the search box and you will come to know that here IDLE of Python here. So IDLE of Python. Whenever we try to open IDLE of Python, you will get an interactive window. So this is actually interactive windows are here. What window here? Interactive window. In this interactive window, you can type the variable or something script. Like for example, here I'm taking just you can see Durga Soft I'm writing here, Durga Soft. And once we press enter, you can see Durga Soft is available or not. Yes. And even we are not going to use any print function also. Print is just for output function. If you want, you can use, otherwise not required here to use print function. Directly, I can write whatever I want and press enter, you will get output. Even a value 10, a you want to print, just a. And did I mention a equals to 10 while declaring integer data type? No. But to know the data type of your a, type of a you have to mention. Type of a is nothing but it is an integer type only. Integer type. So based on the value, data type is assigned for your variable. And just I'm taking a value 123.4 and a I'm just printing. You want to know the type of a, what type it is? Float type. So this is dynamically typed programming language, and this is what actually interactive shell, interactive window. So you can interact just by typing your Python script and then press enter, you will get an output. You can keep on writing like this. So in this interactive window, I'm not going to save anywhere my program. So you can keep on interacting with this in window while typing code like this one. This is interactive window, that is IDLE cell 3.9.7. This is option number one, how to write Python script. Next option is using script mode. Using script mode means what? As a Python programmer, you must and should write your complete script of Python. Yes, we have to write complete script. Complete script means how much code you want to write, you can write it, and make sure that you have to save your Python file with the .py extension. So .py extension is required for saving a Python file using script mode. This is script mode means where we can write, yes, anywhere you can write, including notepad editor also. Right now I am going to open a new notepad file. Here I'm writing my Python code. Okay, here I'm writing just welcome to Durgasoft. I'm taking, this is my script, but now it is not Python code. When it will become Python code, press Ctrl S, or else you can go to file menu and click on save it. You have to save. Where we have to save, you can decide. I'm just as per my convenient, I'm saving my file into desktop. Okay, and I'm going to use my file name is what, test.py. py extension is required. Py means Python extension. My file name is what, test only. Where I saved, desktop. Click on, then close it. You have written your Python code into where, notepad editor. But look at here, the test.py is available with PyCharm logo. This is the software what I installed, editor's logo, no problem. So this is test file is there. Your Python file is ready, but you have to execute this one. How to execute? Yes. So this is script mode, script file is ready. But next I want to run this test.py file. There are two options are there for running this test.py file. One is command prompt. Let's go to command prompt. And which file you want to run? Test.py file I want to run. This file is available in where? Desktop. So you have to move to desktop window. So how to move to desktop? cd space desktop. Simply change directory. I'm going to change my directory to desktop because my Python file present over there. And after that you are going to execute Python script file. So you have to pass the command Python space test.py, enter, then you will get an output. Welcome to Durgasoft, what I have written in my notepad script. Okay, I have written code in notepad and I just saved with the .py extension with name test.py, and I just open command prompt and moving to location where exactly I saved my file, desktop, cd space desktop, and you are going to run Python type of file. So you have to pass the command called Python space test.py, or else you can pass the command called py only, not Python completely, py space test.py, py space test.py. This will also execute, no problem. Py space test.py. That's all. Py or Python you can use. This is one way of executing your Python script which is already available. But next way is you can also load this test.py by using IDLE software. Just now we have used IDLE, no? Yes, IDLE is nothing but when we download and install Python software, you will get this default editor, that is IDLE editor. Let's click on it. And once you click on it, by default, you will get interactive window. In this interactive window, I am not going to write. So I want to open my existing file. To open an existing file, click on file menu and go to open option is there. You just click on open. So once we select open option, where is your file? You can go to that location. My file is present in desktop and test.py I am selecting and click on open. That script is going to open into separate notepad editor in this cell only. After that, if you want to execute this script, then go to run menu and run module, or you can hit F5 button from your keyboard. Run module means yes, every Python file, every .py file is going to be act as a module only. So run module, I'm just clicking, and now you can see we got an output clearly here. Understand? So this is the options how to run your Python script file. Either you can open this into IDLE software, or you can open this into command prompt. So this is option number 2. Write code in notepad, that is your script, or else go to directly IDLE. There is an interactive window is available. There you can write your code, keep on and press enter, you will get an output. And third option is there, Apart from going to interactive mode and apart from going to notepad script, and why don't we write directly using python IDLE software through only? Yes, I'm going to use this python IDLE software directly. I want to create a new file over there. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible. Let's go to IDLE software again, and just you will get interactive window, but I don't want to write code in interactive window. Let me open a new file, file menu, new file, and it will ask you to type here, your code is type here. So let me go for something. Okay, no problem, later we'll check it later. Now you can say I want to write a code, simple code, a value 10, b value 20, and print is sum is a plus b. I'm taking this is very simple program. Just after writing your script here in the new file environment, and when we start run and run module, now you can see it will ask you to save before going to run. Source code must be saved. Okay to save. I'm just going to okay, and it will ask you to save the file. I'm giving my file name is sample.py, and in desktop only I'm saving. Click on it, and after that it will run. Sum is 31. Like this, you can create a new file here every time. File menu, new file. So you can write your code here how much you want, and make sure that you must and should save with the .py extension and run your file only clearly. These are the options are there. But strictly remember, I am not going to follow any one of these options in our upcoming session. Okay, I'm not going to follow interactive mode or script mode or Python ideally. Yes, I strongly recommend to follow this editor, like using PyCharm editor. Okay, PyCharm editor. This is the most popular editor for Python beginners. So not only PyCharm editor, as per your interest, if you want to write your Python code in Notepad++ or Sublime editor or Edit Plus, or else some programmers will use Visual Studio, set up also Visual Studio code. Okay, and some programmers, especially those who are going to deal with data analysis programs with Python script, they'll use Jupyter and Spider, okay, and Atom. There are so many editors are there which is related to Python. But I personally and I strongly recommend PyCharm editor. Most of the real-time programmers also will use this PyCharm editor. The advantage of PyCharm editor is you will get more convenient to write Python script, and there are so many options are available. Some IntelliSense option while writing code as a programmer, as a new to Python, then you need not to get any problem. So there are some suggestion box will come, and IntelliSense options will be there, and you can able to debug your Python perfectly using PyCharm editor. But how you will get PyCharm editor here? To get PyCharm editor, so you just go to Google and download PyCharm. You can type it, and there will be official website like JetBrains.com. This PyCharm editors developed by JetBrains community. I'll show you just quickly. And before that, even if you want if you want work with PyCharm editor, but make sure that before that you must and should install Python software. What I did, first you have to install Python software, then later you can decide which editor is required for you. That editor you can go through it. But PyCharm editor you need to install, you need to download separately. Let's go to Google and type download PyCharm here. Simply download PyCharm, and once you enter, so now you can see this is the official website of PyCharm editor, jetbrains.com. Now you can see click on this link, and you'll be able to notice here two options are there: download PyCharm professional as well as community. At this point, I recommend to download and install community for pure Python development. So it is completely free, built on open source, and no need to do any license, no need to pay to anyone. Just quickly download it, and after that you will get community editor download option is there. And there is one more option is there. Now you can see professional option is there, professional editor. This is only for both scientific and web application development. Yes, web application development means, as I said, that this is completely Python package codes. Once I complete Python codes, and I'll start with web application development using Django framework with all HTML, CSS, JavaScript with Django REST framework. At that point of time, I'll recommend to download this professional editor. Yes, Django website implementation we can do with community version also, but not much conveniently. So I recommend professional editor for those who are working with Python as well as web application development means Django framework with HTML, JavaScript, SQL support, database connectivity. For them, I recommend this is professional editor. Right now, for us, professional editor is not required, and even this is actually free trial, not completely. So hardly you can able to work with 1 month trial, or if you have official, what we can say, university purpose or faculty or trainer purpose or else student orientation purpose, then we can able to officially create JetBrains account, and using that account you can able to use this professional editor for 1 year without paying anything. Okay, but if you don't if you don't have JetBrains account, if you have not create any account, then they will allow you to use this professional editor only 1 month. After that your evaluation period will be expired. So right now, forget about this professional editor. This is required for when we are going to deal with Django applications with Python. At that time, I will give more clarity on this. But right now, for us, community is enough for pure Python development purpose, core and advanced. It's completely free and it will not expire, and you can able to use this community version for long time. And now it is downloading here. So around it is 372 MB. It takes time to download. Once you download successfully this, you have to install it. How to install it? Yes, even I have already in my computer PyCharm community editor also. I'm not going to proceeding for installation, but this is very simple installation. Even more, it is very simple compared to Python software installation. Just after completion of download this PyCharm community editor, double click on that community edition 3 times or 4 times. You just click on next, 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 install it. Don't do any activation or deactivation in the middle of the setup. Okay, so you will get PyCharm editor clearly. So let's close this all windows, and now you can see I have successfully downloaded PyCharm community editor. You just double click on it, PyCharm community. This is the latest version, and it will ask you to click on next, 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 install it. So you just complete this installation setup by today itself, because I'm going to concentrate complete coding part from tomorrow onwards. So you can just be ready with your software, and it will ask you to change. Do you want to allow this app to make changes? I should say no. And now you can see it is current version of PyCharm community edition is already installed. Do you want to continue? No, I'm saying, because I have already. Okay, in your computer, just click on next, 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 install it. So again, within 2 minutes of time, your PyCharm uh, community version is ready. But how do we open PyCharm community version after successful installation? Look at here. Just go to search, type PyCharm, type PyCharm. When I type PyCharm in my computer, I have professional editor as well as community editor. Yes, both we can able to install, both we can able to maintain from one computer. Now I'm opening PyCharm community edition. Just click on this icon, then it is opening PyCharm community edition. But make sure that in my here it is opening, but already recently with what project I have handled, that project it is going to open. But in your case, for the first time, when we install PyCharm community edition, and you will get one window which will show option create a new project. You have to over there a new project and to mention project name and continue. But even is already I have opened my recent batch project here. This is PyCharm editor. The code is also clearly which I handle with pre-project. But here this is not. I'm going to create a new project name properly. Let me create a new project. This is PyCharm editor Outlook actually. I explain you all the options, don't worry. And how to create a new project in PyCharm editor? Simply file menu, click on new project, click on new project, and it is project. So now I'm giving Python project 7. Python project 7 a.m. I'm taking 7 a.m. This is my Python project 7 a.m. I think 7 a.m. already there. That's what it is not allowing. So I'm going to use 7 only, like Python project 7. This is my project name. And once you give the project name and the location, you can see this is I'm giving F drive in my computer. So click on create. So after that, it will ask you, do you want to continue the project in this window or new window, or you want to attach the project into this project? You can decide it. I'm going to open this window only in place of this project. And now Python project 7 it is going to create, and it will create for the first time for every project virtual environment. This virtual environment is a separate isolated environment from other projects. Your project will be run in separate environment. It will create automatically virtual environment and updating Twitter, all those things. Now you can see this is the first time when we create a project, you will get these options, that is main.py. One file by default file, already they have some code in the main.py. Directly you can execute it. Okay, to execute this program which they have written function, okay, with main PyCharm. Now go to run menu. This is the main menu, and click on run main. You will get an output clearly. Hi PyCharm is there. They have written already code for you, just formatted string. Hi name is what actually PyCharm is passing. Here function they created, and function we are calling by passing PyCharm, it will go to here, and this will print hi PyCharm only. This is just functional oriented. They have written basic program, but forget about this program. This is not our program. And our program, if you want to add many files to your project, how to add, what are the procedure? So simply right click on this Python project, your project name, go to new, and now you can see here two options are there, Python file as well as file. It is a plain text file. If you select this file, while giving the name of the file, I strongly recommend to give the file extension .py only. This is the compulsory required .py extension, because you have selected what, right click on it and go to new text file. You have selected plain text file, but here I'm selecting Python file. Already I'm selecting Python file, then no need to give any .py extension. Simply you can name the file and press enter. So you created a new file test.py. So this is test.py. From here you can type your code. Here I'm using print function. Now you can see, just notice, as soon as when I type print, then automatically some IntelliSense option is coming. This is called IntelliSense or IntelliTrace. That means it will allow you to capture the methods and all the things from here only. You need not to continuously type, just press enter, it will capture from there. And this will be very advantage in PyCharm. And as a programmer, if you get any confused or if you stuck in the middle while writing the program, so that suggestion box will help you a lot. So that is the advantage here. But this facility is not there in Notepad editor and interactive cell or script mode anywhere. Okay, so just I'm writing hello Durgasoft. I'm writing this code, and if you want to execute your program, yes, your project contains many files, like any number of files you can add. But which file you want to run? Test.py I want to run. To run this test.py, right click on this test.py tab and just click run test. That's it. Your file is run and hello Durgasoft is coming. In case if you do mistake, like if I'm not going to close bracket properly, how error message will display here, you can see that is in red color, syntax error is available. So one platform you can manage everything. Here and go, you need not to visit, directly open PyCharm, add files, write as much as your logic and execute it and manage your errors in the error window only. Happily you can able to write the code here. This is where one platform can handle multiple files with this project only. And if you want to do background settings or background font and all those things, you can go to file menu and settings option. If in case if you want to change the background color or something, themes you want to change, so there is appearance and behavior is there. You can see appearance option is there, appearance option, and Windows 10 light theme is there. But if I'm saying Dracula theme, I can select Dracula theme and click on this is theme is going to change. If you want to continue, you can continue with this theme only, and I don't want to continue for clear visibility purpose. Go to settings and appearance, I'm taking IntelliJ Lite I am taking, not Windows Lite. And if you want to change the font size, you can go to editor option and font option is there. And how much size you want, you can decide it. I'm just giving size is 20. Even if I give 22 also, it will work. See, 22 size is incrementing font size of the editor. So this is the management. This is completely Python setup. Once you complete this setup, then we can continue the programming part from tomorrow using this PyCharm editor only. But just as a programmer, you just practice once all the options, all the available options. Try to install Python software, try to write simple code in interactive mode and try to execute, and also open Notepad, plain Notepad. There you can write code and save with the .py and execute in command prompt, and also using ideally, or else go to ideally. There we can create a new file separately and write your script and save with .py and run it. After completion of just cross verification of this all the possible ways, you can continue with PyCharm editor. That will be good, because in my course, in my duration of this course, and I'll use completely PyCharm editor only, even for Python script and as well as Django REST framework, all the classes, Django web development, even HTML, CSS, JavaScript also I'm going to cover in PyCharm editor only, because the facility is there to create all the type of files here. Okay, all the type of files. Now you can see, let's go to here, HTML file we can select, even JavaScript file you can select, every file you can select, but it's not showing more options because it is not a professional editor. It is a community editor. If you go through professional editor, here JavaScript file will show, CSS files will show, React.js files will show, Django files will show, REST framework files will show, every file will be shown. Here only one editor you can manage. So hope you understand, this is step by step. Okay, yes, this session also recorded, don't worry, and last session was also recorded, and these sessions I will send you once your registration process is complete. And those who miss my first session, I strongly recommend to visit official YouTube channel of Durgasoft and go to YouTube, and they have uploaded my recording video. Yes, every batch they'll upload some basic videos. So go to Durgasoft YouTube channel, and better to subscribe also if possible, so for notifications, all those things. And now you can see they have uploaded my video in the last session. What I have now, you can see Python plus Django plus REST API session 1. You can watch this video, and today they'll upload this video also, what I conducted, second video, or 4 or 5 videos they'll upload for promotional purpose. Don't expect all videos in the YouTube channel. Okay, yes, hope you understand. That's it for today, and tomorrow I'll start with my coding part, basics coding part. I'll start with PyCharm editor. So please make sure that those who wants to continue with this session, please try to install Python software along with PyCharm. Then that will be good for practice. From tomorrow onwards, I'll start practical sessions, and subject, I'll enter subject, like what are the basic coding is required, what are the fundamental concepts are required, I'll cover it. So that's all from my side today. If you have any questions, please ask. So type your question in chat box, or else open your mic and try to speak with me, no issues at all. Any question related to sessions? No books reference personally. If I refer, then you cannot read. Okay, it's not possible to read. Okay, unnecessary things, and it will take a lot of time. Instead of books, you can follow the websites. Okay, so many websites are there. You can go to just type Python in Google. There are so many website links available. Even if if you want, I'll refer a proper website. Many websites are there, no issues. Yes, total package is 12,000, and if you go through only Python, around it is 6 to 7,000 maybe. You can contact with Durgasoft people, they will disclose the fee particulars clearly. Yes, HTML, CSS, JavaScript are needed for Django, but only I will cover how much it is needed, basics things. 1 week, 10 days sessions I'll conduct before going to continue with Django, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, because it is web development. No, every web developer must and should aware at least basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap. That basics things I will cover. No worries. Basics are more than enough for learn Django. I will take care of that. Angular is different issue. If you want to manage your web application development with Angular, that you can learn it, but not required. So we are focusing on Python, no? So duration of, oh, yeah, see this total duration, package duration is Python first 45 days. Next, once I complete 45 days Python with core and advanced, then I will start Django with REST framework is there. This total remaining days in 3.5 months, first 45 days is Python. Remaining how many days? Totally Django and REST framework. That's it. Python database connection is must. I will tell you database connection with MySQL and SQL Server also. I will give the introduction of MySQL basic queries and SQL Server basic queries that I will connect. Even when we are going to deal with Django, every time we used to interact with the database only, but in Django database purpose, we use default database that is SQLite 3. This will come built in with Django framework. And even I will show you with MySQL connection, SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server connection database also. Yes, database is must know, but you need not to learn all the database concept, which is required, which is relevant for us, that I will teach you. Yes. So any doubts we can, how in depth while the data science portion be? Don't expect data science portion in depth from my side, okay? I'm not a data science trainer. I'm purely Python complete trainer. So only see data science programmers need Python script. If they know data, they know Python data structures well, then they can handle data science modules very easily. So here I am going to cover complete data structure patterns, but you have to manage in your data science course. But before that, I will cover Pandas, Matplotlib, NumPy packages which is related to data science. That basics only I will cover. Don't expect much more from us. I am not a data science trainer. Hope you understand. Okay, yes, data science course also there in Durgasoft. You can join it with that after completion of Python. That's better. So next, yeah. Any questions? Yeah, you can contact to Durgasoft team, so they will assist you. Yes, Durgasoft website data science schedule is there, I think so. Once you can visit www.durgasoft.com website, you will come to know who is the trainer, which subjects they are dealing, batch timings, and everything will be there. Registration link, you can go through it happily. But make sure that if before going to data science, you must and should aware of Python knowledge. If you don't learn Python, then mere waste of data science. That is for sure. Yes, projects also I will provide in the Django and REST framework pattern. Two projects I'm going to discuss in our classroom. After completion of Python and Django projects, I'm going to start development with all including HTML, CSS. In my classroom, what concepts I cover, all concepts including one or two projects I'm going to explain. Projects, we don't expect much more bigger projects in Python because you try to understand only programming language, we cannot build much more good project. And along with Django framework and REST framework can make together one project, because project is nothing but website content is required, web pages you have to design, you have to connect with the database, all those things. But only you can create standalone project with Python. Yes. Any questions? Yes. This is the second session. Two recording videos are ready with me. So only the thing is multi-threading I will cover, file handling I will cover, exception handling I will cover, regular expressions I will cover. Okay. And built-in modules I will cover. OOPS concepts, functionals, anonymous functions, lambda functions. Yes. Once your registration process complete, so once I receive your mail IDs from DurgaSoft, so I can share my material and recording videos to your Google Drive. If you really wish to continue, please register, and you need one more demo, please attend tomorrow also. Okay, tomorrow also you can attend at same time on same link. We'll continue. So that's it for today. Have a nice time. See you tomorrow. Still, if you have any question, I'll wait here for 2 minutes. You can proceed. Thank you, all of you. It's time to leave for me. Have a nice time.